Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. We have another combat test snapshot. It is number 5, and this one has been updated for 1.15.2. Of course, it's probably not going to be a part of that update, but if you are not aware, 1.15.2 is coming your way, and we had a pre-release earlier in the week. I covered that here on the channel, so there's a link in the description box if you need it and you want to check out that video. Now, it is over here on Reddit that Jeb keeps us updated with what he's thinking about the game and how he's taking feedback. And currently, he's thinking that armor is too weak and that food takes too long to regenerate. And it encourages two types of gameplay. Fights that are too quick because the armor isn't strong enough to keep the player alive, and also ones where they get dragged out and feel boring because players are being defensive and trying to eat food to regenerate health. So those are the two main areas of change in this update. And as always, if you want to download this for yourself to play, you can find the instructions in the description box all the way down here at the bottom, as you'll need to download a custom zip file to play this on the Java edition of the game. Now, if you're wondering how you can play this in multiplayer with your friends, there is actually a link right here inside of the edit installation screen to download the server files. I thought I'd mention that since it kind of passed me by. If you want to play this with your friends in multiplayer, you can get the server link right here inside of the Minecraft launcher. So let's get into these changes. If armor is weak, then you can either make it stronger or you can nerf the weapons that are attacking it, and that second option is what Jeb has gone for here. So our weapons and tools inside of the game have been rebalanced at this point in time, and what I've gone and done is compared this combat test snapshot to 1.15. So 4 damage is from this snapshot, and the number in brackets is from the 1.15. So you can see here that the stone sword has been lowered by 1 point. But this is actually a consistent theme. All of the stone tools are now going to have the same damage as the wooden tools. And as you can see, the pick, for example, has actually increased its damage value for the wooden one, whereas the axe got downgraded, and you can see here it's changed by like half a point, but for that one, 1.5 points. But anyway, back to the swords, you can see it's been downgraded a point. Gold here has stayed the same, but gold is pretty inconsistent. There it's been downgraded by 2, here it's gone up by 1, and at the bottom it went down by half. Now the diamond sword has also been downgraded a point. So going up to the picks, we've got 3 and 3, 4 and 4, and 5 and 5, so you can see those have stayed the same. But the axe has taken the biggest nerf, down by 4 points there, down by 3 for the iron, and down by 2 for the diamond axe. And last of all, the shovels down here, 1.5 points, 1.5 points, and 1.5 points deducted. Then we have another weapon, the trident, which has been deduced by 2 points down to 7 damage. So the theory here should be pretty obvious. If these tools are dealing less damage, then your armor becomes more valuable as a response to that. So hopefully these changes will give Jeb the kind of balancing he's looking for. Next up, changes to food and regeneration of health. This is kind of a big deal, and the first thing I need to show you is actually invisible. So you might be aware that there is a hidden value called saturation that can contribute to the regeneration of health, and it's why you might see so many people eating golden carrots, because it's quite valuable in terms of saturation. However, that value is basically entirely removed, so the value of the golden carrot has certainly been nerfed by this. But it means that the hidden saturation meter is no longer relevant to healing your health. Now, what we did have in this game was a system called natural healing, and when I damage myself, you'll actually see this in action. This system now works precisely, so each hunger haunch that goes down means that a heart will go up, and obviously they work in halves here. Now, this only used to work for the first hunger haunch, and then you'd have to eat again. However, it will now work all the way down to the very last 3. So I'm going to continue to damage myself here. And now we skip forward in time. We're going to run this effect one more time, and you'll see that I can only use 1 more of my hunger haunches, and then it will stop because I can't use the very last 3. So now my hunger isn't going to regenerate any further. Now, eating food takes 32 ticks normally, but this has been changed to 40, so it's now 25% slower to consume and eat food. And then the speed at which I regenerate from my hunger haunches, like what's happening down below, this has also been increased. It used to be every 4 seconds, now it happens every 3. Jeb also made a note in his post that saturation is not used when healing damage and is only relevant as a pause until food drains as originally intended. Now, I had actually given myself a whole bunch of golden carrots and was doing some testing with this, trying to figure out how saturation interacts or what he meant by that, and I couldn't quite get my head around it. It really does feel like, saturation isn't even a thing in the game anymore, but there's possibly something there that I missed. And last but not least, with these food changes, sprint is no longer going to affect your food value. So if I run around and jump, I will be able to drain my hunger haunches. But sprinting alone, there is no penalty for that. So you should be able to sprint for longer and freer inside of your Minecraft world. Now, we are not done yet. There are more changes. One of them that we saw recently was that throwing a snowball would now have a cooldown. You can see it on the hotbar. This has also been applied to the egg. And then the swing animation of a weapon like this sword, for example, has been changed supposedly to emphasize the rhythm of attack. And it does actually look a little different to me, but what we need to get is a side-by-side comparison, something like that. So here's what it looks like standing straight on. And here it is in regular 1.15. Yeah, it's quite noticeably different, isn't it? We will also check it out from this angle as well. And so back to the combat test snapshot, you can see the sword just kind of lingers a bit to the side of the player there before it slices downwards, and the slice action is a little bit faster. So the next two features require a little bit of multiplayer. Snowballs will now hit players again. This, I'm sure, has changed so many times over Minecraft, I'm never really sure which one it is. But Jeb has also hinted that this could become a game rule as well. And by the way, this doesn't actually do damage to the player. Like when you throw an egg at them, it basically does 0 damage. But yeah, this might become a game rule in the future if you want it to hit the player or not. Now, there is another change that we need a second player to show, and it's kind of amusing as well because my camera account has slow falling on as well as resistance. Now, Jeb says that he's reintroduced upwards knockback when hitting a player in the air. Probably too strong right now, but can be balanced later. So, if I hit my camera account, you'll see that it goes up into the air a little bit. However, if I hit it twice, so the second time it's in the air, then all of a sudden it starts to go really quite far, and you can play a really weird game of keepy uppy. And yeah. I don't know, I kind of like it. I think it would make combat a little bit more spectacular for those moments where like a player leaps in from the side and then you punch them or you hit them and they go flying off in the other direction. There is also said to be various block hitting and air swinging bug fixes, but since we don't have a list of what those are, I have no idea, but there are some bug fixes included. So sometimes when I'm recording these videos, I like to put the text on the screen as well, so you have some clarification for exactly what Jeb said, in case I misunderstood anything. But this next one, I don't think I misunderstood it at all. It's just a little controversial, as Jeb says. So, added a kind of Coyote Time that activates for a fraction of a second if you aim at something but attack outside of its bounding box. The background to this change is that since you can't attack between swings, it often gives the impression that your input was lost. It also made fighting small and fast targets like rabbits or baby zombies unnecessarily frustrating. Let's have a look at what this looks like, because I think it's pretty obvious what this is. Okay, I am aiming at the camera account and then I hit to the side. I have not hit the back. Whoa, you can really go over the top with this. Huh, I did a full 360. Okay, I think we found a reason why straight away this is probably not a great idea. I can see how it could solve a problem fighting small mobs and having your like precise timing frustrating. Now, what I'm going to do next is just leave myself over here for a little bit, and you can see, look, I'm not even at the bounding box, but I aim inside, and yeah, it's about like a second perhaps. Nope, maybe a little bit less, and then I can hit the player still. And that is the last of the notes, which brings us to the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like to support the channel. And if you've got any feedback, you can leave them in my comments. But also, the thread on Reddit, Jeb is listening. He's looking for input and feedback. I just combined those words together on the update. Anyway, I mentioned 1.15.2, pre-release 1 earlier. There'll be a link to that on the screen, and a link to some other videos as well. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with another one. Bye-bye.